Realtime Board is my favorite new tool. It's free and it works for staff and students, and instead of telling you about it, it's easier to just show you. To start, go to realtimeboard.com, and this is a whiteboard without borders that's also collaborative. If you scroll to the bottom, there's a little GIF that gives you a little introduction. It's really the possibility to collaboratively move ideas around, and it's this process of creating and planning. So to start, you can go to Login, and you can log in with your Google account. When you first set up your account, you get it free for 30 days, and you should see a little upgrade option. And if you scroll down, this is free for educators. You just need to upload a file. So if you go down to the FAQ and keep going, it says my team is an educational institution and apply here. And if you go to this form, you'll need to complete the form. And it's basic information. There's one file that you need to upload, so if you would like to do this, just email me and I'll send you over that file that you can upload, and mine was approved by the next day. Once you've submitted that, scroll down a little bit further and it says that this is free for 30 students, but if you email them, you can tell them how many students you have and get more accounts for free. So those are two things if you want to use this, but I really do think it's worth it. So we'll go ahead and click the Start button and get to the dashboard. So I'm here at my dashboard. I'm going to go ahead and click the plus sign to create a new board. So you can see there's all these really lovely templates that you can start with, or you can sort by ideas here on the left, but it's really great for mind mapping, design thinking, project management, curriculum mapping. There's a lot of uses for it, and I'm going to go ahead though and continue without a template. So instead of showing what every single button here does, let's do this in context. So if I click on this frame, create first frame, this would really be if you were presenting at the end. You can have this frame kind of be your guide, and it needs to be the correct dimension. So you can change the ratio depending on where you would be presenting, but I'm going to just leave this set at 16:9, so it would be good for a projector. And I'm going to name this frame POI, Points of Interest. And now I can zoom in and out. It looks a little bit like Prezi. Prezi is usually created by one person and presented to many, where this is really about the process and this creative process created by many. So I'm going to go to a Google Sheet, and maybe I'm asking students what they already know about Washington. What are some places that they know? And I can highlight this list. So maybe this was a Google Sheet that they were all able to enter into. And I'm going to copy. I'm going to go over here to Realtime, and I'm on the arrow. I'm just going to double click and paste. And it looks like it doesn't like that. We're going to Control V, and it made every cell a post-it note, and I can shrink them all over here. I'm going to drag them into this frame just to kind of organize them, and I can change them. So maybe points of interest, I would like to have green. If you're using a trackpad, you can just use two fingers to kind of push along. So I'm going to push that off to the side. And if I'm not presenting this, I can use this square here and just draw a square and double click and type animals. And you can change if you want that centered at the top. I've moved my text to the top. You can change the color if you want the square solid or outlined, and different colors here. I can also click the plus sign, and there's all these ways you can pull in content. So if you wanted a YouTube video, if you'd like to have a website, I'm going to go to Icon Finder. I'm going to type in Orca, and I can just drag that over. So you can add all these different pictures too. It's really nice. So I think it's not very intuitive necessarily how to put this away. If I click on the plus sign again, it's going to pull that little shelf back, and now I'm going to click on the post-it notes, and there's this multiple post-it note option, and maybe I'm just asking students to call out what animals they know that are from Washington. And when you're done, you can just hit the done button, and it makes each idea its own post-it note, and maybe I want these different than my points of interest, and I'll make those yellow. Now there's also this tagging option, so I can hit the little tag. These are all animals, and create, and you'll see it just adds those tags down below. So what I'd also like to do, I'm going to zoom out now, and I can just pinch my fingers to zoom out. So I'm going to go ahead and draw one more frame. Let's use a circle and say plants. Now the nice thing about this is it's collaborative. So I can click the share button. It looks very Google-like. And I need to name this Washington. Now Realtime Board does use teams, and you only have one team to begin. But if you email them, they said that they would allow multiple teams, and so maybe you have a team for every class period, something like that. I'm going to go ahead though, if I wanted to invite my whole class and I don't have teams set up, I can go to Google Classroom, the student page, click, and it's going to check all of my students, actions, email, and what it does is it pops up an email with all of your student emails, and you can just go ahead and Control A to select them all, Control C to copy, and then just paste them right here and invite all of your students to this. And now students would be able to go in and they can click on Post-it Note, and maybe you have your students all talk about plants that they know that grow in Washington. So now I'm going to go ahead and zoom out and move this over and insert a map of Washington. So I'm going to go back to the plus sign, and you can search Google. So let's go back to Google Image Search. So I can go ahead and even search by color if I just want a green state of Washington, and we'll go ahead and use this one. So you'll want to click on the plus sign to get rid of that shelf, and then you can have all of your students simultaneously moving their Post-it notes where they would belong on the map. So Orca, if I move Orca, you'll see it's behind my map. So I'm going to click on my map, the three dots, and send it backwards so my Post-it notes are going to show up. And now students can move all their Post-it notes around. So Marmot needs to be somewhere, Mount Rainier. And it's just pretty cool that it's really collaborative. It's not about the end product, but it's this process of building. And you can zoom in and out. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe I had my student actually put the Orca over in Wenatchee. We'll move it over here. There's another feature, these comment features. So I'm going to click that comment, click on the Post-it, and you could say something like, Orcas need water. And you can even do the @ sign. So if I wanted to have somebody maybe come back and work on something, I could say @Megan.student. So there's that account. And they can go back in and hit resolve. So it looks a lot like the comment feature in a Google product. Additionally, if you want to click on a comment, you can change the colors, you can pin it so that it stays open, and that way people know some parts that need to be worked on. A couple other tools would be you could always draw. So there's this pencil, and just like most sites, you can change the size and color. So if you wanted to talk about maybe the water cycle and how that impacts this area and Mount Olympus and the drier area, there's arrows if you wanted to talk about relationships between ideas. So I could click on something over here, and that's not showing up very well, so maybe I want a larger line, different colors. So you can talk about relationships and maybe build a Post-it note on what this is representing. There's a lot of just this layering and layering of ideas. When you're all done, you can click this export button. So there's lots of ways to save this if it's an image, PDF. If you have a website that allows for embed codes, you can have it embedded into your website. In the share options, besides just inviting people here, you can also change it so that your team can only comment now instead of being able to edit if you're just doing some fine tuning. And you can also turn it on so anybody with the link can comment. Now I could post this on my website. People would not need a login, but they could go ahead and comment. So if you wanted parents to be able to contribute as well, and it would be anonymous. So just think about that. But if you hit done, so in addition to having all these layers of collaborative thinking, you can also really use this product to zoom in and out. So if you think about a student writing a story, sometimes that can feel a little overwhelming. But if they just zoom into beginning and they just zoom into setting, they can use Post-it notes or just write text, but they can really focus on one piece at a time and build out those ideas. And then when they put them all together, that they'll see they really have all these tools then to build their entire story. Now, I'm very new to Realtime Board, but I'm really enjoying this product. If you need the file so that you can get a free account, please let me know and I'll email that over. And then also don't forget to email them if you want more than one team and more than 30 students. Thanks.